the most powerful designer drugs are the digital ones we use daily. And we get high off them. One touch, tap, like, scroll at a time. You know, just like tech creators want us to. Use digital without digital using you. Learn more at sync.ithra.com.
We acknowledge the traditional owners of country throughout Australia and recognise their continuing connection to land, waters and culture. We pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Welcome to This Song Is Yours, a music podcast where we chat to a new guest each week, talk about their life and creative endeavours, and talk to them about some of the music they love. Our show works by chatting to our guests about music, their songwriting techniques, and occasionally getting them to make you a playlist of the songs they love. Welcome to episode 202. I'm your host, Simon Fink. Our guest today is Vera Blue. The pop singer and songwriter returns later this week with the release of her brilliant new record, Mercurial. In today's episode, we're speaking with Vera Blue about learning to let go when it comes to songwriting, getting back to touring after the pandemic. We discuss the music of Lizzo and Harry Styles. Here we go. Our guest today is a pop singer and songwriter from Sydney, Australia. Being an absolute festival favourite amongst a lot of young Aussies, she's found success over the last number of years with her singles Regular Touch and Mended, alongside collaborations with artists like Flume and Illy. This Friday, she releases her brilliant new record, Mercurial. Please welcome to This Song Is Yours, Vera Blue. Hello, how are we?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you so much for your time.
Of course, absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Well, again, we are very excited to have you here. We were just talking before we started recording, but one thing I do want to quickly mention before we go anywhere is thank you for coming on the pod. You are, I would have to say, one of our most requested guests that we get.
Oh, really?
Yes, yeah.
I love that. That's so cool.
I feel like we've been, for a few years, we've kind of been taking in requests from fans, and this year we've been lucky enough, yourself and Meg Mac, two of the big guns in the Aussie music scene, we've finally been able to tick off that list. So thank you for coming on and fulfilling a wish of a number of people, myself included.
Oh, it's an honour. Thank you. And I love Meg Mac too. She's so cool. So that's so cool.
We are here today to talk about a brand new record from yourself. It is coming out later this week, Mercurial. Firstly, congratulations. This album, I have to say, and part of my language, this album is not fucking around from the get-go. Out the door, you are just kicking the door down and just going for it. It's incredible. So, yes, firstly, congratulations on this record.
Thank you so much. It's like such a thrill to have a body of work finished and for it to be ready to kind of like, you know, be in people's ears and for people to hopefully be enjoying it in the moment. And it is like, honestly, the most amazing feeling ever. And it really, when we were working on it, there were moments where we were like, I think we need to kick people in the face with these songs. We need to kind of blow their socks off and just say whatever we need to say in the moment and, you know, be fearless and just let the emotions be real and honest and out of this world.
I feel that you've achieved that very well. I feel that it honestly does seem like it is still very much a Vera Blue record, but there's a reinvigoration, there's a rejuvenation, there is whatever you want to refer to it as. It does seem like you're really, not that you weren't taking it seriously before. How do I word this? It just, you can tell sonically this album is going for it, and I love it because of that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
No, of course. I know that this album, from what I've read, pretty much almost when you released Perennial in 2017, that this second album kind of almost started then. Mm-hmm. How has that been? Because obviously that is a lengthy period of time. There's a few things that happened in that time. I'm not sure if you heard, pandemics, everything else. What has that time frame been like in terms of getting these songs ready and getting the album ready to put out?
Oh, yeah, it's been interesting. I think, you know, obviously we started working on this album right after Perennial. Like, I think I toured in 2018, and then towards the end of the year we got together into the studio and started just experimenting. I didn't know what I wanted to write about. I was like, I don't know. Not that my life's not exciting or there's nothing happening. I had a bit of like that feeling of going into another phase or another album. There was that kind of pressure on myself and being like, can I kind of write songs that I wouldn't want them to, you know, not saying I want to be better or anything like that. I didn't have the confidence. So eventually we kind of just got over that, and we were like, let's just create, you know, without having any kind of intention of knowing whether this song's going to be in the album. And it just started happening. We worked on like Everything Is Wonderful. We wrote All Right Now, and we wrote Wherever We Go and things like that. We were kind of like, what is this crazy different kind of journey we're going on? There's different sounds. And I think the beauty of the team that I work with is that we have evolved together, and we've kind of had this fearlessness to find sounds that we have never used before. And a lot of the songs had a strong emotion, and we always wanted to imitate that with sounds. So I think a lot of the lyrics and the song contents came from random things that were happening in my life, my mental health, you know, new relationships, falling in love again, learning to trust and realizing that I could feel love and be loved again, empowerment, all these kinds of things that I hadn't really written about before, but I was feeling the kind of comfort in the discomfort of talking about and feeling vulnerable. So it was a very safe space and inspiring and fun. So I think we've really created something that we didn't think we were going to, but we love it.
That's incredible. I know you just mentioned that the team that you had worked with previously. I believe Andy and Tom Mack are two of those people. I'm curious how, because as you've said, this new record, it is kind of going in with it with a whole new attitude and new sounds. What was it like working with them, who've already worked with, but I guess making sure that you're all on the same page when it comes to what's next?
Yeah, it's quite a magical experience being in the studio with people that you feel really comfortable and safe with, and you feel like you can say whatever you want, and not in terms of like, I hate that guitar line, that sucks. More just saying things in the songs, like emotions, like saying things like, fuck it, or like, that's what makes us feel better, things that like we normally wouldn't say before, or things that maybe we go, oh, is that cheesy? And then just being like, stuff it, it's what it needs to be right now. We can change it down the line if we're not sure about it. It was amazing because obviously they've evolved as a duo as well, so they had lots more experience and have been creating different kinds of music. Andy worked on who was it? He worked on an 80s record, and he had all this kind of newborn 80s elements that I was just adoring at the time, that kind of just made me feel, because I loved 80s music. I listened to a lot of the War on Drugs and, you know, Madonna and things like that, that just, there's just something about it that just makes me feel really energetic, or the drums being so kind of crunchy and echoey and things like that. So the elements that we really drew from the things that they've picked up on their journey as well. And it was super fun. Like, we'd start, whether it was on a piano or whether we'd start with a beat, there was always something in the sound that we were creating that signified or drew out an emotion in me, which then kind of made me talk about things that I was going through or things that I wanted to feel, whether I wanted to feel relief, feel better, and, you know, I wanted to kind of feel safe in my friend's arms and push forward from really dark, depressive times. So, yeah, it was really fun. And being able to write with Tom, so like, I've written with him for so many years now, and it's just like knowing that, like, when we're in the studio and something, even producing as well, we're on like some sort of train of creating a sound or finding a sound or a lyric, and once we find it, we all kind of look at each other and go, yes, that's the sound. We've got it. Cool. Moving on to the next one. Like, it's weird how magically we can all just agree on something in the moment, and we're not sure why or how, but we all just go, yeah, that's it. I don't know how, but that's it. Yeah, it's cool.
I love that. I love that sometimes in the studio, whether it be 1, 2 people, possibly 3 or 4, there is that weirdly, that magic kind of thing that you can recognize without being able to maybe articulate it, that you know that that's the thing.
yeah, it's like something's in the room that we can't see that's like making our brains just go, yes, that's the sound, that's the guitar tone, do it.
If there was a way to articulate it, that would be it, yes.
Yeah.
One thing I'd love to kind of talk to you about, if that's all right.
Yep.
And you kind of touched on it a second ago, was the process of not overthinking lyrics and saying whatever it may be and whether you think it's corny or not. Because the album is, as you mentioned, it's dealing with quite a lot of subject matter that can be quite personal, quite close to the heart. And I feel like even from the opening track or right now, you're kind of doing that. You're reassuring the listener that everything is all right now and that you're all right. And I guess delving a little bit deeper into that, do you ever... I'm not sure about you. When I used to write, I was a terrible self-censor in real time. I would censor it almost before I even thought it. And I would be really curious to know, whether you find if you're similar or whether you do allow that stream of consciousness to just happen and then go back and rework it at that later stage.
Yeah, it is very interesting. When I'm writing by myself, I'm very critical, and I feel like I am more of a collaborator and I need someone to bounce off when writing so that I can feel reassured, or then I can hear their idea and I can go, wait, no, I like that better. But the beauty of the writing on this album was Tom and I were very kind of open as to what we were saying. We wanted to kind of not be too critical, but we still wanted to say what we meant and make people feel what we were feeling. So there were a couple of moments where we'd write a lyric and we'd say, is that correct? And we're like, it doesn't really need to be correct, just as long as it makes you feel. And sometimes we were going, oh, and then we go, but that someone's going to listen to this and they're going to really relate to that specific lyric. And I can almost feel like, you know, there's going to be some form of relation to this song in whatever way it is. So I have to remember too that these songs are about me, and I write them in the studio. They're very personal, but once they're out into the world, they're everyone else's story as well, to make it their own. So it was quite freeing to be able to not be so critical as well, because then you kind of get caught up in a lyric and you never finish it. So there were a couple of moments where we did write some throwaway lyrics in there and then we'd come back to them, or even a verse or a chorus. We'd come back and be like, this needs to mean more. This needs to be, you know, more real and say exactly what we mean. So, yeah, it is kind of a balance. You have to find that balance, and it's difficult sometimes when you're just really hard on yourself. I've always been really hard on myself, so, yeah.
I'm glad that I'm not the only one, but I very much appreciate that insight into the lyric writing.
Yeah.
If I may be a little bit indulgent, I would love to talk about my favourite track from the record. Again, this new sound.
Yes, please. I'd love to hear it.
This new sound, I feel like when we are listening to a new record of someone that we're going to speak to, we do our research. We're listening to the record a few times. This track, I had to stop what I was doing and literally just turn everything off around me and focus on it. Was Lethal. I just felt that it was almost like a hard swerve. Yeah. I don't even know how to describe it. It was just like as I mentioned, part of my language, shit, she's not mucking around. Let's really hone in on this. Are you able to, just give us a bit of insight or peel back the curtain on the inception of this song and where it came from?
Lethal is actually one of the songs that a lot of my friends and family are like.
It took a lifetime to find the person you want to marry. Finding the perfect engagement ring is a lot easier. At BlueNile.com, you can find or design the ring you've always dreamed of, with help from Blue Nile's jewelry experts, who are on hand 24/7 to answer questions, and the ease and convenience of shopping online. For a limited time, get $50 off your purchase of $500 or more with code LISTEN at BlueNile.com. That's $50 off with code LISTEN at BlueNile.com.
My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
This song's my favorite one because I wanted to have something. I firstly just fell in love with the word lethal. I was like, this song just this just has to be. I think I fell in love with Lethal Overdrive, the words together. We ended up just calling it Lethal. I wanted to be called Lethal Overdrive, but Lethal just was a bit stabbier. And this song just has the energy, and I wanted something on the album that was just explosive, wild, crazy, just kind of being reckless. I just wanted that spark, and it turned into Lethal, and I just love it so much. I feel like I'm running. I feel like when I'm listening to the song, I feel like I'm speeding full. I'm just going so fast.
I can very much. I think that would, if there's a video treatment for that, I can see that working very well with that, 100%.
And it's got like a bit of that song actually was. We were listening to a lot of The Weeknd at the time, and I think we actually. There's obviously like the 80s synth line that goes along with the throbby bassy sub, and it does have a bit of a Weeknd-esque kind of feel about it, which I love as well, because I haven't really heard many like kind of female artists do a really aggressive kind of Weeknd-y song. And it's so much fun. It's really quite empowering, this song, because it's about kind of just it does have a little bit of like I wouldn't say like sexual, but it has like a bit of angst and like a bit of a relationship thing where there's someone kind of pulling you in a direction and you're just kind of going, yes, I'm going in that direction. I'm just going to like see red and just go crazy and be reckless and wild. So it's super fun.
It is a brilliant track. The reference to The Weeknd, I think, is actually quite interesting, because that might be unconsciously maybe what I was thinking, and I wouldn't have gotten there without your suggestion. But it is, I guess, listening to the record, well, when I go back to listen to the record now after this interview, I can see that there is quite a few, I guess, Weeknd references, more 80s style, but in that current day kind of framework. When you're writing for a new record, when you're recording, are you someone who likes to have outside influences around, if that makes sense? Will you listen to music, or are you someone who's kind of like, no, we'll shut everything off and just have it be what it is?
Well, normally we are, and that's how we did probably most of the album. It's sometimes when we get to a moment in a song where we're like, I want something like this to happen and for it to have this kind of impact, and then we draw from maybe an influence of some sort, like The Weeknd, for example, or Massive Attack, or something where there's like a moment that you feel like needs to happen in the song that imitates something that you've already heard, but then we kind of morph it into something that we have created ourselves. So it's sometimes we just create something and we have no influences at all, and then sometimes a particular moment in a song will inspire looking up some sort of influence and drawing from that. So it's really interesting and really fun.
I do, as I mentioned, I do love the album. I think it is fantastic. The other track that kind of jumped out to me was Heart Still Works, which I thought was just a brilliant piece of songwriting. Thank you. I realise it's a little bit unfair to ask someone this, because it is such a terrible question to ask. And so I'm going to offer an alternative at the end of it, if you'd like. Is there a favourite song that you would pick from the record, which is the unfair part of the question? Or I guess as an alternative, is there a song that out of all of them that you want fans to kind of connect with the most?
Oh, there's such good questions. It's difficult, but it's like picking a single. Like I want all the songs to be singles because I have such a connection to them. So it's one of the hardest things I have to do, and also picking a favorite. So I think when I pick a favorite, it changes. Like one day I'll have a favorite, then the next day I'll have another one, and then I'll come back to a previous one. I love that you love Heart Still Works because that's one of my favourite ones as well. It's got this kind of, folky element to it because I started writing on the acoustic guitar by myself late at night, and then it kind of turns into this anthem that's like, I never thought I'd find somebody. It's just like beautiful, and it's empowering, and it's sweet, and it's got these emotions that I haven't really written about before. It's like a love song kind of. So I think definitely Heart Still Works is one of the ones that I really want people to hear. There's something really special about, the backing vocal parts where they go, one part goes, I really want to find somebody. Another one goes, body, find somebody that I can't live without. There's something really beautiful about how they work together. And then there's that, beautiful 80s synth goes, do, 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 do. It's just, and you hear the drums going, do, do, ba, ba, ba. It's got that kind of real 80s drum kind of tom hit thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's definitely one of the songs I look forward to people hearing, and it's one of my favourites. But I think Today Lethal is my favourite. I listen to it in the car.
Well, as I said, both solid choices, both were at the top of my list from this record. So, again, thank you for indulging me with that.
On the same page.
Yes. You are about to head out on tour in November. I think there's a run of shows for your own tour. There's a handful with Flume as well. How are you feeling about getting back out there and being able to finally play these songs in front of people?
Oh, I'm beyond excited. I think it's like it's such a different brain. Like I've got the writing studio brain and then I have the performance brain, and I love them both equally. But I'm itching to do like a proper tour where I have consecutive days and I'm just out there jumping around and connecting with people and providing them with, it's funny to say entertainment because it's more than that, providing them with kind of an experience and emotion and just kind of pouring myself into all of that. So we've been working on that, and it's going to be so much fun. And even getting back on the road with Flume is going to be really exhilarating because we haven't done shows since I did lots of touring with him overseas in 2019. So it'll be good to kind of put a few of those ones kind of in the list, and just having fun, just getting back with my band and crew. We're like a family. So I think it's something that we are all looking forward to as well. Yeah, it's going to be amazing. I'm really pumped. I can't believe I'm going on tour again. It's like an album tour. So, yeah, it's going to be good.
Everyone that we have spoken to in the last 6 months or so, obviously with the world opening back up, I feel like there is what's the word? It's almost like a childlike reintroduction to touring or love of touring, because it's that thing about being able to do something that you love doing, but also having it being taken. I'm trying to think of the right way to say it. Having it taken away for that period of time really did kind of obviously make it difficult for people to create a living, do what they love, be able to kind of support themselves. And it is very nice to see that it is opening back up, but also that artists are just as excited to kind of get out there and connect with fans once again.
Yeah, it was something that we all missed so much, and there was a period there where we were like, should I be thinking about another line of, like, another kind of profession? So it was quite scary for a bit. There was just actually such a huge level of the unknown, and to be able to perform and connect and express myself in that way, and for so many artists to be able to express themselves in that way it's such a thing that is inbuilt in us now. So when we can't do that, it's such a difficult feeling. It's so hard. And I've loved performing since I was a kid. I just loved dancing and singing and expressing myself. And so I think that's just part of us, and we just have to do it. We have to get out there and do it. It is interesting. Some bands don't like touring. When I find out that some bands are like, I hate this lifestyle, I hate it, I'm like, it must be just for some people they just don't like it, and that's also fair enough. It is really taxing and really difficult and exhausting as well, so you have to find a balance on tour. It's actually it's quite full on but it's fun and really rewarding, so I look forward to it. I like the challenge.
Do you have any tips for bands or artists starting out touring? Any kind of top 2, top 3 tips you'd give to people when they are starting out on the road?
I think patience is a big thing, having patience, creating kind of, you just got to get out there and perform and create like an experience for someone, whether it's even like small on a small stage or if you know you believe in yourself and you're passionate about what you're doing, people will see that and they will connect to you with your honesty and stuff like that. So I think it's being patient and realizing that it takes time and just enjoying it while you can.
I think that is incredible advice. I think that's probably especially patience.
And look after yourself.
Look after yourself.
Look after yourself is a good one, yeah.
I feel that's a very important one. I feel like a number of people get caught up in the touring lifestyle, if you will, and that sometimes can take its toll. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I learned pretty quick. I think I learned pretty quick like that I couldn't perform to my best if I'd had a drink or if I was exhausted and I hadn't slept very much. So you really learn how to, because it's a job as well. It's like you've got to really be able to be your best self for the audiences and for your crew and at that time it's your life. So you have to really kind of make sure that you're healthy and you're happy and you're just enjoying what you do. So, yeah.
Very much agreed. Thank you for those tips. Lastly, we would usually ask our guests what they are currently listening to, if at the moment there's anything on high rotation for yourself.
At the moment on high rotation is obviously I'm a really big Harry Styles fan. So Harry Styles is always on rotation.
Mm-hmm.
His latest album, I love his previous one as well. But an artist that I'm also really loving at the moment is Lizzo. She's really, really cool. So much energy. And I see you've got Maggie Rogers' record behind you. I also adore her and her voice and her music. She's actually a really good friend of mine. So I love seeing how she's progressing and all the different things that she's doing. So, yeah, really inspiring stuff.
Beautiful choices. I actually did have Harry's House up just before and I swapped it out for something else and now I regret that choice. But
it'll always be there.
Yeah,
it'll always be there.
It's always there. Yeah. Vera Blue, thank you very much for your time today. I do appreciate it. Congratulations on the album Mercurial, which is coming out later this week. But thank you so much for coming onto the pod.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. And I'm super excited for the album and for you to hear it and you've heard it, for everyone else to hear it and experience it and feel it. So thank you so much for your time.
And that's our show. A massive thank you to Vera Blue for her time. Mercurial is out Friday and we've left links in the show notes if you'd like to buy the album or tickets to her shows. We also want to give a huge shout out to Maree at Island Music Australia for helping out with today's interview. If you like this show, please subscribe wherever you get your pods and stay up to date when new episodes are released. We release new shows each Wednesday and Friday morning, and we now have a Patreon, which you can find within the show notes of this episode. You can follow the Players profile on Spotify, and you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Until next week, cheers.
This podcast is brought to you by eHarmony, the dating app to find someone you can be yourself with. Why doesn't eHarmony allow copy and paste in first messages? Because you are unique, and your conversations should reflect that. eHarmony wants you to find someone who will get you. How are you going to know who gets you? If people send you the same generic conversation starters they message everyone else. Conversations that actually help you get to know each other. Imagine that. Get who gets you on eHarmony. Sign up today.